Alrighty, so let me see here. Welcome to the Sunday night stream. I'm your host, Pop39. We're on a bit of a crunch time sort of deal right now, so let's just get started with the prelude right now. So this is D&D Solo Edition because I am a man with no friends or family that would like to play. Not that there's a lack of effort in that, but more particularly just because there's no interest from the people I know that want to play with me. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm your host, Pop39. Today I'll be streaming, as I said, D&D, to which I will recap now the what had happened in the last session and interval. So, for the most part, we wrapped up what I left on at the time, which was a quest to help out a priestess of Shanti with the aid of a Oath of Vengeance paladin, Xander. Our leading character, Rex, had descended with the paladin into the traveling alchemist's lair, to which they were intercepted by a slime. And with that slime, they had faced off against effectively the alchemist's creation. Because Rex had used Thunderclap, this had drawn the attention of the traveling alchemist Gaunt, to which he tried to flee. He tried to retaliate, of course, after a certain point saying, wait a minute, I could use magic. But Xander proved how ill-timed and ill-fortuitous that might have been, and got his hand deflected. And so now, Gaunt has been detained. The hamlet of Humble Hill has been resolved of any crises that it may have gone through with the tampered with fertilizer. And yeah, the Xander and Rex parted ways at Luskin, and now we're pretty much in the preamble between adventures. I did have a adventure selected beforehand, this specifically being from the Adventures in Faerun, Siege of Shalespire Priory. But this one is, I got this adventure that says the Robber Baron, and after reading through it, whoo boy, the payout on that thing is great. But before I actually tackle that, because I am considering actually tackling that, I would at the very least want to, rectify certain things. So, yeah. Give me a sec. My dog is right now coming in and out, in and out. It's kind of annoying. Not my dog being, coming in and out, but it is getting, like, a bit much, because it's like, which is it, pal? Alright, so, specifically the Robber Baron takes place specifically in the region of the Sword Coasts. Currently, Rex is all the way out in Luskin. So the question is, how do I Kobayashi Maru my way there? Well, the answer is simple. Just go to Waterdeep. I was planning on going to Baldur's Gate, but Waterdeep seems to be the closest analogy there. So, I am going to declare a few things right now. A few rulings for this whole solo play adventure to work off of, at the very least. I was considering Adventure League ruling of, at the very least, using downtime days, to which I will rule this, that they cannot be used for levels at the in their current curriculum I'm running right now. However, they can be used to, say, get coin or get resources prepped and ready. However, specifically at this time, the gold I will be yielding will be pretty low, as, well, it's a level 2 wizard, and there's not much really to do with it. So, I'm going to declare after this adventure, 7, give me a sec. Seven downtime days allowance right now. So, currently we are working with 7 downtime allowance days. As I mentioned before, I will not be using those to level up in the current curriculum, as it would be just... It would just kind of break the flow of how I want things to be a bit. So in this case, because in this case, it is going to be particularly a bit more harder to do. At least to track initially. I am going to have to try and like be a bit more creative of sorts. So, what am I going to do with these 7 downtime days? Let's see here. I also leveled up, to which I took up as my level up spell, Identify. Yes, I chose Identify as a ritual spell. Joy. Alright, but that beside, so yeah. Currently, I was rewarded I was given about, what was it, like 70 gold pieces? Give me a sec, it was 100 GP. So yeah, it was like splitting between Rex and Xander. So we got half of 145. And this totals out to 100 gold pieces and 5 silver pieces. So, the question is, what can Rex do now in his downtime right now? Well, he has calligraphy supplies, and that he is proficient with them. His background is a scribe, so... I'm gonna say in Luskin. Alright. I'm gonna say in Luskin, while he's in Luskin, as he has settled in for the day, to which at this point I will remove 1 GP as lifestyle expense. Yes, as the lifestyle expense, so here we go. So you see here, modest living and all that. Keep out of slums, maintain equipment, renting a room. So I will reduce my gold piece by 1, and I will, during this downtime day in Luskin, with my calligraphy supplies, will outsource my services as a scribe to anyone who would want them. Alright. Alright. I'm gonna roll a d20 now to see if I am successful in getting that. Now, I will say I am gonna be successful no matter what, but I'm gonna divide it up in quarters. So, if it's 1 to 5, it's going to be, you know, something rather lowbrow, so to speak, in the sense of like, you know, fishers and merchants just need their stocks and the like all accounted for, and that will be like, I don't know, like a D6 of gold or something like that. At a 6 to 10, it would be upping it about double the amount, so D12 worth of gold. And then 11 to 15 will be a D20, and then 20 above, or, you know, 16 above will be 2 D12s, or, yeah, 2 D12s is what I'll say. So, no matter what, I'm gonna find work somewhere, but the pay will vary, so let's see what I get. Ooh, off to the races already. Okay. Outsourcing work as a scribe. Found it in merchants. Found it in merchants. Needing inventory checked. And paperwork organized. Okay. That's the first downtime day, and I'm going to roll for pay, to which it's 1d6 as I declared before. Off to the races indeed. Okay. 1 GP. paid. Because that's 8 hours, I am gonna say that... Yeah, so... I am gonna say that, at the very least, that there will be... That's just gonna go to my next day, so... Because I'm working in my downtime day, it is gonna take up the whole day, for lack of a better word. So, a whole day spent working. I'm gonna roll again for... I'm gonna roll again for this... For this again, because I do need capital to work off of. So, here we go. Let's try again. Do I get better work? Okay, that's modestly better. Alright, let's see here. Found it in working with a caravan passing through in Luskin. Alright, let's see how much I get paid. I think I said it was like D8. So, let's see. What do I got? Ooh, that's the full. Alright. Found it was working in a caravan passing in Luskin. They requested for Rex to look and organize their papers and they requested for Rex to look and organize their papers and goods. 8 GP paid at this time. Alright. Yeah, sorry, let me just reorganize this as well. Alright, this is the third downtime day. So, despite the fact that yesterday was a success, I will say this, having realized that Rex is not going to get much money or experience in this for the time being, he's going to have to travel elsewhere. To which, let's see here, rather than paying for a caravan, he will consign himself to work with a caravan and see how and pretty much work his way to travel down south to Neverwinter at least. Let's see how successful he is. In this case, I'm gonna roll perception now to see if he could find it. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure whatever DC I had in mind, which was likely going to be like 12, this already beats. I'll look for work in a caravan. Alrighty. Alright, so, having found work with a caravan, let me think. How much should he get paid now? I'm gonna roll a D4 to denominate. I'm gonna roll... You know what, screw it. I'm just gonna say, because it is a fairway travel all the way down south, we're talking... That's not exactly a good metric of measurement, but that is probably maybe 3-4 days worth of travel. Per day, he'll be paid about 1d10. Yeah, he'll be paid 1d10 worth of coin. And alright. So we'll look for work with a caravan going south, to which you would find it, and What would he take his role as? Yeah, you know what, let's do... Let's do Caravan Guard. Why not? I'll roll for encounters while I'm at it. So I'll roll a d4 for like wildlife instead, because this is like lowbrow tier stuff. Alright, so let's see here. I'm gonna say... give me a sec. I'm gonna say about... let me see, I want to try and break this down. See... Let's say, because I really... For me personally, travel, after one campaign, traveling was a bit of a hassle. So I'm going to say after 2 days, an encounter will happen, and they'll be about halfway across. Alright. Actually, with this, you know, I think this would actually be part of the downtime day. So we'll just say, yeah, 4 to 5, yeah, so. Day 4 was on the road. Alright, so, I'll roll a d4 to see what encounter I would get. I want to do animals, right? So, alright, let me just, real quick. Let me pull up separately where the... Ugh, jeez. Let me just pull up where it would actually be for... animals I could use, because I don't want to like pull out like an owl bear all of a sudden. Let's see here. Where is it? Where is it, DM's guide? Where are your creatures? Show me thy horrid monsters and atrocities. Let's see. Yeah, isn't that the DM's guide, or is it the player's handbook? Let me see, because I'm genuinely trying to pour through. Here we go, creature stat blocks. I'm not sure if these are supposed to be players, but yeah, let's see here. So I will roll, because we're up north. Let's see here. I will roll for either boar, brown bear, wolves, or let me see, what would fit the north real quick? Huh. Alright, yeah, you know, 2 types of bears and a boar and a wolf. So 1 will be a wolf, 2 will be boar, and 3 will be brown bear, 4 will be black bear. Alright, let's see here. Boars. Now I'm going to roll the number of boars that are here. 4, of course, okay. So, let me see. How many guards will there be now? I'm going to say minimum 2, so it's going to be 1d4 plus 1. Is what I'll declare. 4. Okay, so with myself as well. And the client, so... Alrighty, let's see here. Grass field time, baby. Alrighty. So, actually, is this... Let me see. Do I have anything for roads? Let me see. Anything for roads? Because all I got is like grass, wood, sand, snow. Yeah, fuck it. This will work for the time being. Alright, let's see here. So, let's see. Guard. Is this... I want to see, like, the full stat block. Make sure this is... God, I hope this is the right one, at least, because this seems, like, fairly... Alright. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, like I said, it was minimum 2. So, this is, like, extra. The caravan will be... Alrighty. Then, I believe it was, like, 4 boars. So, we're kinda over... Okay, so we're kinda, sorta over... Yeah, this is what we're looking at right now. So, 4 boars, 4 guards right now. And currently, 1 player character. Me. This is tier 1 type encounter, I'm hoping. Right now, because... At the very least, is this suitable for tier 1, technically? Normally, this would be for, like, full of players and player characters, but because, you know, all that and jazz, it's kind of like, yeah. Oh, and also because, I forgot, technically it was a long rest, I don't have mage armor, but for the sake of brevity, I will say that 1 spell slot has been already used for the day to maintain, mage armor, so we got that. Alrighty, so let's see. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Alright. Alright, so we have... Alright, there we go. So they're not enemies, these are... Yeah, so technically these are non-NPC, these are non-player characters. So we got that. Okay, so this is what we got right now. We have 4 NPCs on our side and 4 NPCs on their side. So it's pretty evenly matched. Alright, so because I'm first on the turn order. I'm not going to write down this combat encounter because this one specifically does not really matter. It's technically part of a downtime day, but yeah. So, currently level 2 now. What can I do? Anybody want pork? So, fire bolts. That's gonna miss. Okay. Can't move from here. So, next up is the guard. Guard A, who's all the way back here. She will charge... They will charge up and attempt to... Yeah, they will charge up and attempt to make an attack on the boar. And because they all share initiative... Yeah, alright, so... alright, these are going technically by alphabetical order, so we'll just do that. So the guards will pretty much roll up and try and hit the boars. Let me check if this one hits. It does. Okay. Okay, so the guard hits this one. Let me see. Guard hits this one for 7 damage. So 7 damage. The next guard will come up and attempt to do the same and pretty much thin out the front. She will hit... Yeah, she will hit this one. And it'll be for 4 piercing damage. Alright. And this one will just come up and do the same thing. So pretty much it's kind of like simple right now. That's a nat 1. Rebounds hard and just ricochets back a bit. Alright, boar's turns now. No flanking is really, like I mentioned before, flanking is not really a thing in this game, so... Let me see here. These guys don't got any intelligence, so they're just gonna try and match him. And yeah, they're just gonna try and match him. All right, let's see here. Gore, miss. And you know, let's just do it while you have it here. Second one, miss. Third one, I don't believe that will hit because these guys, the guards, have an armor class of 16. So that, I believe that one will miss. And this one, the fourth boar, will miss. Let me double check. Actually, I think boar B has advantage because it's bloodied. At the very least, it looks like it's like halfway down. So I think that's enough to warrant bloody. So I'm gonna make an extra roll. Okay, that one hits. Okay. So on hit, we'll deal 1d6 piercing damage. The target's medium or lower, and the boars move straight before it's hit. The target can make extra 3 and has prone condition. He did not move, so it'll just make the damage on this guard. So this will be 3 points inflicted. Back of the turn order will be on top. Okay, so let's see here. Well, it's 4 boars and we got 4 guards for the most part. So again, let's see if I can try and 13 to hit one of them. Let's see that. 6 points of fire damage, I'll say on this one, because first the turn order. That's the end of his turn. Actually, no, he needs a line of sight, so I'm gonna rule out that he moved here and then did that. And then afterwards, guard A and guard B is just gonna continue their Pyrrhic onslaught. Let's see here. 6. I think that hits, actually, yeah. So, I think that also hits. That will definitely hit. That's a nat 20. Okay, so the first guard is gonna... Yeah, the first guard is gonna now focus on boar A. However, is gonna miss. The second guard is gonna try and hit boar B, to which that will actually hit and will deal 2 piercing damage. So there's that. This one will deal the same damage. Will deal the amount, yeah. So 2 damage. And this one, because it rolled a nat 20, it's going to roll that along with, let me see, I think it's an extra d6, yeah? So that will be 9 points of damage total. Boar's turns now, so, yeah. Yeah, this is why NPC battles aren't really that great, at least not without other players here commanding. Ooh, that's a dirty 20 though, so... That'll be another 2 points of damage right now. Yeah, because the boars haven't moved. So now this is literally just rolling to see what happens. This one is going to be with advantage because it's bloodied. 19 to hit. 4. 6 piercing. This one will hit. Yeah, this one will also... I think it should be enough for bloody, I'll say. So let's see here. Also, dirty 20. Let's see here. For 3 piercing. And this boar I could definitely warrant is bloodied. So... yeah. So this one will roll for damage. And will be inflicting 3 piercing. Alrighty. Okay, so got that now. Yeah. Ugh, jeez. Okay, so let's see here. Yep. You know, I'm beginning to suspect why this is why nobody plays downtime days. At the very least, role plays them like this. Because it's just going to be me sitting here rolling dice behind a screen and just doing that. You know what they say though now? Lesson learned and all that. Alright, let's just roll, see. Wow, this is kinda... Alright. Okay. That's another nat 20 on this one here. Alright, so let's see here. 5, 5. What the fuck is going on here? I'm rolling a bunch of... Oh, actually, it's a spear, so... Roll another D6 because... It is... That one, the last one was critical. Okay. Okay, so... let's see here. Okay, so this one is kaput, dead. And this one here is like really badly hurt. And this one here, yeah, he's like super dead. And that leaves 2. Alright. Alright, I'm just gonna fucking end it here, actually. God damn, this is just miserable. At least without another player character to mix things up a bit, you know? I'll probably try this again, but because it's tier 1, I'm not really gonna throw out the bandits just yet. Alright, but yeah. Yep, combat ends. Boars are dead. Finito. Let's clear the board now. Alright, combat occurs and it's boars. Alright. Okay, so combat occurred, it's boars, yep. And now we're pretty much making our way to Neverwinter, to which on the 7th day I will say that there is still time to actually do something. I'm gonna say that there is still enough time to, at the very least, do something. So, let's see here. On day 6 and day 7... Arrival at Neverwinter. Alrighty, arrival at Neverwinter. Day 7. Downtime day 7, I should say. Downtime day 7. Arrival would be at noon. Alright, let's see here. So let's see, let's roll for payout as well. 27, okay, nice. Oh shit, I just realized. So 7, add for the previous, and then after that, because I wasn't in the city for those 4 days, I'm not gonna knock down the, I'm not gonna knock it down, and I'm gonna do 27 here, so I have 33. Okay. So with time on his hands, what Rex will do is he will research and pretty much look into copying, yeah, pretty much research and study spells through through scrolls. Now, I will, for this one, because, yeah, for this one, I will roll Arcana to see if he does successfully do so in this case. So let's see here. Does he do it? Yeah, I say he does it. But fuck, I forgot to declare the DC again. So DC would have been 10. If it was below that, it would have just been like 1 minimum. But because it was like, this would just pretty much warrants the ability to get like 2 if possible, because it is within his budget. Alright, so now that I've declared that, alright, so now that I've declared that, I can now take on 2 more spells. Yeah, I can now take on 2 more spells of my choosing if I want. Sorry, I'm looking at something right now. I was seeing if I had Green Flame Blade. I know it's a cantrip specifically, but I was curious at the very least if that was here. I don't think I have it, because that's like a Xanathar's Guide. Alright. Let's see, what should I choose? I already have like a bunch of defensive stuff and 1-2 utility items, so I will take the floating disc as one of my 50s. And I will also take, let me see here. What would actually be useful more broadly, I guess? Maybe False Life? No, that's... Well, actually, maybe False Life. But at the same time, that's a bit of a... Ooh, now this is interesting. Spellfire Flare! Ooh, that looks nice. But at the same time... Let's see here. Ward Away. Or Witching Bolt. You know, I want this. I want Witching Bolt, just because this seems sinister and hilarious at the same time. So I will take Witching Bolt. So, because these are level 1 spells, and that these are, and I am a wizard right now, I will lever it because, yeah, I'm currently studying spells for during this time. So, because I rolled 18 Arcana, to which, if it was below 10, I would have just gotten 1, but because it was above 2, I would have gotten, like, I got 2, and because I'm expending the full 100 I have in the reserve right now. Where the hell is it? Alright, spell casting. Your wizardly apprenticeship is culminated in yep. Prepared spells, changing spells, spellcasting focus. Where's the... Here we go. Expanding and replacing a spell book. So, copying a spell into the book. When you find a level 1 plus wizard spell, you can copy it into your spell book. Of it, every level you could prepare. If you have time to copy it. For each level of the spell, it takes 2 hours to transcribe in 50 gold pieces. Afterwards, you can prepare the spell like any other in your book. So, because I already rolled Arcana, and because I declared that it was new before already, and because I'm expending 100 gold pieces for 2 spells of level 1, there is still time to take a long rest, and now I have 2 spells in my back pocket, I believe, with the rulings as is. So, I have Tensors, Floating Disc, and let me see if I could activate... Alright, and I will activate Witching Bolt as my spell of choice. I have 2 ritual spells now, which is great. Yeah, it's great right now. Give me a sec. So I have two new spells, and 2 of them, and one of them is a ritual spell. If only I had a ritual caster, I could do it just an instant. Let me just put down new spells. Learnt. Floating disc and witching bolt. Let me check something on the witching bolt actually. I'm curious. A beam crackling energy lands toward a creature within range, forming a sustained arc of lightning between you and the target. Making the ranged spell attack against it, you hit for 2d4 lightning damage. On each subsequent turn, you can do that. You increase the damage. Can I choose multiple targets? Because I want to be like a Sith Lord now. Just like, I swear guys, I'm the good guy. Now, kneel before me! Alrighty. Okay, so... I'm thinking right now off the top of my head. Give me a second, my dog is on my lap. Which I don't mind, but at the same time, he's like moving around a lot, which is kind of... I wouldn't say it's annoying, but it is getting in the way. Alright, pal, come on. Okay, so that is the end of day 7 downtime. Alrighty. Alrighty. So that is the end of day 7 downtime, and I do believe with the current border right now between it. Yeah, okay. So I'll say this is enough to trigger the quest I want in question, because I will admit this above game in a metagame standpoint, that the Robber Baron... This is my declaration with the Robber Baron right now. Because specifically... let me see here. This is the reward for if you complete the quest. 380 copper pieces. 630 silver pieces. 120 gold pieces. 26 platinum pieces. 6 tiger eye gems. Potion of climbing and scroll of sea invisibility. However, this is the reason why I want to take on this quest. However, at the same time, I have to deal with a spy, a priest, countless toughs, bandits, mastiffs, and all sorts of just individuals that are hanging around here. So, give me a sec. Okay, so this is kind of sort of why I want to take on this quest, just because the payout is so huge and substantial. However, there's a challenge I do want to do myself. Alright, so there is a challenge I want to do with myself while doing the Robber Baron, is that if I could have Rex do this alone without any, like, player character assistance is what I'll say. So any assistance from like a hero type character. So like any of my characters I draw upon right now. So let's see. So any of these characters below, if I don't rely on their assistance directly, this is my declaration right now. I will level up twice and I will reap all the rewards of all the monetary rewards of this quest. That is if I don't leverage any assistance from the player characters. That being from the player characters I have in reserve right now. Because with Xander, obviously, you know, level 1 and all that. But with level 2, and with the way I'm kind of sort of reading through this and trying to think about it, I am thinking of like alternate solutions and ways of like how to possibly bypass this and get everything a little bit. So it's kind of sort of like a writing exercise of sorts as to how it'll... Come on, pal, which is it? You've been on my lap all day, man. Come on. Alrighty, come on. Okay, but yeah. You know what later. So, no, I already fed my dogs, by the way, because... Yeah, I already fed my dogs already, so... That's already been taken care of. Alright, so, yeah, for the most part... if I deal with all these obstacles in my way, and successfully pull off this mission, while reaping the monetary reward, it's a huge fucking payday. Let's just say that, boys. Alright. Alrighty. So, because I'm in Neverwinter, I am going to say that at the very least we are close to the Sword Coast. Obviously with this map, you know, that's not entirely the case, but the border is there. And I would say word has gotten up here about the Robber Baron. To which, let me see and think off the top of my head how I want this to be explained. Within a day's travel of Baldur's Gate. Okay, well, let's not say it's near Baldur's Gate entirely, yeah? Well, maybe, actually. Maybe I should. Still. Let's say that it's a few... Let's just say it's within the Sword Coast. I don't know. I'm really trying to figure out how to realistically do... Yeah, realistically. Actually, I think I got an idea to one degree or another, at the very least. So, let me see let's read the prelude. Alright, let's start properly now. As Rex was spending a day in Neverwinter looking for work, some ornate... actually, what's the better word to describe it? Alright, some bodyguards of a noble... Let me double check, because... Not a noble. Okay, so it's a commoner. Actually, Alright. Alright, I got a better idea now. Okay. As Rex was spending a day in Neverwinter looking for work, some bodyguards are grumbling about their last job going wrong. Alright, so yeah. Can't believe the last job went wrong. What are you grumbling about now? Just thinking about it. We had the client right there, and then, swoosh! Bandits came down on us, just all quickly and the like. Barely got out with our skin alive. Well, what happened to the client? Poor sod got captured. We wanted to go after him, but, to be quite frankly honest, we weren't getting paid enough, so we just left. That seems like bad practice, you ask me. Yeah, well, sucks to be him. Shouldn't be paying me more. Yeah, so that's the dialogue right there. Alrighty. There we go. A bit better, I think. I was just shooting something out there right now. Alrighty, yeah. So, just got that. Alright, so, yeah, something like that, then. Can't believe we got ambushed by those bandits down the coast. Client got nabbed and we didn't get paid squat for it. What do you expect the guild to pay for? Sloppy work? There we go. Plain, simple, to the point. Alright, I'm just gonna say, listening further. For more details, among other recipients. This has been ongoing across the Sword Coasts. And nobody... And it's to the annoyance of many. And the fear of merchants. There we go. I'll say that bodyguards are getting annoyed the fact that they're getting ambushed down in the Sword Coast. They're getting ambushed down in the Sword Coast, and merchants are afraid. Let's go with that. Okay, so let me see. Let's roll investigation now. See if I can infer more details. Yeah, me, Rex, yes, and so on and so forth. Can infer more details. Dirty 20, okay. Alright, I didn't declare DC again. Fuck! Alright. DC... Fuck. It would have been at least... It would have been multi-tiered, so I'll just put it the highest. So, I'll just put down 10 to 15 is what I'll put it. It would have been to varying levels of success. To which... Alright. Listening and asking around for more information reveals more detail about these ambushes. Specifically, it is happening around Baldur's Gate. Because that is, according to what the page is saying, a day's travel of from Baldur's Gate. It's been happening around Baldur's Gate specifically. Some bodyguards and merchants recount hearing from their guild mates that these incidents have been occurring more frequently. They wonder if the flaming fist, they wonder if the flaming fist is going to do anything about it, or will they let it lie? Alrighty, there we go. So, yeah. So, now that Rex has more probable cause right now to look into it, he will... let's see here. Alright, so... Baldur's Gate is a ways off. Like a real ways off. Like, holy shit. Jesus fucking Christ almighty. Look at that. God damn, look at that. That is a huge distance away. How is Rex gonna get there? Let's see here. It's gonna be a while, but maybe. Let me think off the top of my head. Because that would be like 2 weeks tops in game, and I want to try and minimize the amount of time that is spent. This is Neverwinter, right? What is Neverwinter known for? Other than wailing death, naked barbarians, and fucking insane mages, apparently. Let's see here. I wonder if... This might be an opportunity to leverage another adventure into this hook a bit, actually. Let's see. Let's do a quick read around, see if I could find anything within the Sword Coasts that would actually be of interest. Might be an opportunity to look into Shalespire, Priory of Shalespire. Doesn't say where Shalespire is, but it looks as though that it could be anywhere. So I'm gonna leverage. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leverage 2 adventures into 1, just so that way I can properly also kick off this one. So we'll just say that. All right. As Rex is trying to figure out how to get to the Sword Coast in a short amount of time, suddenly, actually no, let's not say suddenly, because that seems like Deus Ex Machina-ish. Let's not leverage that unless I'm a cleric, alright? Then I have the excuse of saying, I am literal God from the machine coming down to save you peons, and say, yo, maybe you should do this quest. So let's roll fate. How does this happen? Let's roll fate. I'm gonna say, let me declare right now first. I'm gonna roll a d20. 1d4, on a scale of 1 to 10, it will be a crier from, yeah, you know what, let's just say it. Let's say for that it will be a church crier asking for assistance and help in a matter, or the fact that the church is looking for the church is looking for someone to investigate something for them. And the other will be and then afterwards 11 to 10 will be instead a yeah, it'll be like a cry for help, but let's see how urgent it is the question. So this is what I'll do instead. We'll do the crier bit, but we're going to do urgency this time. So in this case, it'll be reversed now. So 1 will be not serious, and a d20 will be critically serious, which will dictate how we'll prioritize the quest. So let's see. 17. That's pretty serious, all right. Alright. Let me see. What is... Alright, so clearly this quest will now take precedence over the Baron one instead. Which, alright, which was my original idea. But let's see here. So let's see here. Let me read. Who's the god? Oh, okay. Alright. I'm just gonna put this down instead. It's not gonna be a church, but a crier directly from the Order of the Gauntlet. So, a crier from... Yeah, a crier from the Order of the Gauntlet. A crier from the Order of the Gauntlet will rush toward the town square, as this is fate roll severity of how critical this situation is of 17. Let me read the quest for Siege of Shalespire Priory. Raiders commanded by a hobgoblin captain Lack the Breaker lay siege to the Priory, a place of shelter and pilgrimage for travelers and of Lathander. Okay. Let's see here. Characters of the Priory, spot raiders. That's how they hook you in, but this is my hook now. Alright, so let's see here. Okay, so, alright, so because this is severity 17 crier, alright, let me think now, because I'm sorry, I was just reading this real quick, so, this is what I'm gonna, I guess, say and kind of write. Hear ye, hear ye! The Order of the Gauntlet's looking for help. Shalespire Priory is being under attack by a horde of raiders coming to sack the Priory. The Order of the Gauntlet is asking any adventurers willing to go to Shalespire Priory. You'll be given a teleport scroll to go to the Priory immediately. But bear in mind, this is a one-way trip. Once you're there and after it's done, you'll be wherever the Priory is. To which let me see. Doesn't say where the Priory is, other than it's just in a Priory. Yeah, so it doesn't really show much. I'm just gonna say for the sake of brevity, it is gonna be in the Sword Coast, but maybe not so close to Baldur's Gate. Maybe somewhere. Let me see here. Faerun. I have the Faerun map. Let's see here. Was once upon Elturel. Rest in peace, Elturel. Hope you rot in hell. Because I'm not seeing where the... I'm not sure if it's seen here. Probably is, because I'm literally trying to, like, go through this map, but it's all, like, congealed together. If it is here on the map, I'm just gonna Kobayashi Maru it, as I always do, and just say that it is kind of sort of near where Fort Morning Lord is, and where the wood... It kind of would be off the road, wouldn't it? Because they got like a bunch of other stuff here. What would a good location the Sword Coast be? Because this is a riverbed, isn't it? Yeah, the Cheonthar River. Figured as much. So let me see here. To hell with it. I'm just gonna say it's... let's see here, because... Yeah, jeez. This map is not helpful at all. You got like a bunch of fields and no roads. Which, to be fair, is probably the way it is in the first place anyway. Alright, so I'm just gonna say that it's gonna be near where Fort Morninglord is. Although, I'm not sure if Fort Morninglord is part of Elturel. So, in either case, it's likely going to be somewhere in this proximity, near the wood of Sharp Teeth. Actually, maybe... yeah. Maybe it's probably down further south, to be honest. Closer to where the green field is. I don't know, because if it does exist on this map, I'm not looking hard enough. I'll just say that. I am not looking hard enough. Yeah, who gives a shit, I guess. Better response to that. Okay, so, for the most part, because I'm not seeing it on the map, again, if anyone else... You know, I'm curious now. Where is Shalespire Priory? If it is on the map. Let's see here. Where is... Yeah, it doesn't exist on the... Let me see. Where is it on the map? Because all I'm getting is Shakespeare's Priory, and that's it. So for the most part, as far as I can tell, it doesn't exist on the Faerun map. And if it does, I'm not looking hard enough, like I said. So, I'm just going to say that it is going to be somewhere... somewhere into... It would definitely likely be close to Fort Morninglord, because it is technically part of... If I'm not mistaken, I would imagine Fort Morninglord is in honor of Lathander. Let me look that up, actually, just in case. Because who knows, maybe that'll be like a devotion to some different god. Alright, Alright, yeah, well, if... I just looked it up. If Fort Morninglord is technically abandoned, then likely it would still be somewhere close to the... So I'm just going to say, for the sake of brevity, it is going to be somewhere near the green field. So somewhere around, maybe... I'm thinking here. Sorry. I'm thinking maybe here. And this... Let me see if I can narrow it down a bit. No, I guess not. Okay. Well, in either case, right around there. So... So right around there, pretty much almost close to the land of intrigue of Am. So yeah, alright, so somewhere in the green field is where I'll put it. So yeah, okay, let me just get that. Alrighty. So, the Order is offering a bounty to those who would lend their aid in defense against the raiders. You'll be given a one-way teleport scroll to the Priory, but... Yeah, so you'll be given... The Order of the Gauntlet has received a cry for aid from Shalespire Priory. The Order is offering a bounty to those who will lend their aid in the defense against the raiders who attack the Priory. You'll be given a one-way teleport scroll to... You'll be given a one-way teleport scroll to the Priory and will be unable to make... It will return here once traveled. Who will lend their aid? Okay, so now that I got that settled now, because this is a separate quest altogether, and that this is a public cry for assistance right now, this is now the perfect opportunity to actually roll to see who's there. I'm going to declare this off the bat right now, that specifically Xander will likely be there. However, he will come as a later assist rather than a early one. So now this is something of a public cry for aid. So I will now, because it's a public cry, I will now roll a d4. Minimum of, so 1d4 plus 1 will be the minimum of NPC assistance that will be on hand. So let's see here. Ooh, so that's 2 adventurers that have willingly lended their aid to Shalespire Priory. I guess everyone's feeling atheistic right now or something. Alright, let's see here. I'm going to roll 3 D100s. So I'm going to roll 3 D100s to dictate who this character is, and try and fit the description to the characters I have already pre-made. So this is now just determining who I get. So let's see here. 83, Sinister. 68. Where is it? 68, Mundane. 28. Classy. A sinister, mundane, classy person. I'm not gonna lie, there's only one person that fits this descriptor right now. There's only one person that fits this description for what I got. Admittedly, the sinister part fits. The classy part, a bit more subjective. The mundane part, that's a bit more harder now. To which... Okay, so... Alright. Alright. Real quick, I'm gonna quickly... Let me see if I got any art that would match the descriptor of the character that I'm gonna be using. So let me see here. Where did I... Let me see my picture catalog. Do I have anyone that fits? No. Not directly, at least. Actually, maybe. A bit of a stretch, but this might work, actually. I should remark, all I got is like a bunch of mask-wearing characters. Because masks are cool, man. Get off my back. Alright, but I do have one. It's not the one that I would like to use, but it's the one I have, and that will likely fit the description of what I'm going to be using. Okay, here we go. Okay, so as two adventurers quickly raise their hand... What the hell? So as two adventurers raise their hand in offering, yeah, so... Alright, so two adventurers would raise their hand and lend their aid, as then a wild-looking man emerge and raise his hand too. Sure, I'll help. Anything for Lathander, right? And this man is... I'm trying to describe, because it's been a while since I last thought about this character. And I just mostly made this descriptor because I figured... why not have something that would fit here? Anyway, give me a sec to get them all set up properly right now, because he's missing like a whole few... yeah, he's missing a few different things. Let's see. So, let's see. Alright. Okay, so, pretty much, this wild-looking man will emerge, and on his back, a long bow, and he's wearing this, like, this fur hide, like, armor design, and his face, while humanoid, is most evidently not entirely humanoid. That's, I'm trying to really, like, describe how a shifter would be, to be honest. But yeah, technically he's humanoid. Pretty much, you'll be kind of sort of like how, oh man. Kind of like how, oh man, he's got... I'm sorry, I'm really trying to like find the best way to describe it. He's got like this like a panther-esque face, but you can't see it entirely because he's wearing like a mask and that like, and on his like left side you see, yeah, on this left side you would see like all sorts of like markings and let me just pull up the actual visual right now, because this is what the token I'm actually using looks like. It was meant for another character, but this one would actually fit the idea a little bit. So it's like this, so pretty much it's a guy that's wearing like fur, yeah, like I said, fur pelt armor. He's got his left arm exposed, and he's got like, despite the fact, and he's got like pretty much wearing sleeveless for barring his right arm. Well, actually, no, they're both their arms are sleeveless. Fuck it, because he's just wearing a long coat. Both arms are sleeveless, and you just like, you see like what, like he's like really hairy and like, he's like, I'll lend my assistance. Anybody else willing to throw their hat in the ring besides these two? And Rex, hearing this opportunity, would say, would pretty much raise his hand and say, I'll join too. And, yeah. Okay, so Rex seeing the opportunity would pipe up and say, "I'll join. If it's in the south, I'll join." Alrighty. So the crier will. Alright, so the crier will then explain more in detail quickly as to the situation in Shalespire Priory, to which he will pretty much say what he said before, and elaborate more on the actual priory itself afterwards. And it's pretty much like, let me actually pull up the map, so at the very least, I get a visual representation as well as like how I can interpret it if he's been there before. Alrighty. Alrighty, so the priest will explain that the priory itself is a standard. Let me see here. Yeah. So. Alright. Yeah. So the. Alright. So the crier will explain the details of the assignment. It's pretty much to defend the priory and defend the inhabitants and anyone inside against the raiders. The layout is somewhere. The layout of the building, if I'm looking at this correctly. Ooh, now that's an interesting. That's a bit more interesting. Is this supposed to be... I'm trying to figure this out. If this is underground or if this is like in a mountain. You know what? For the sake of brevity, I'm just going to say that... Yeah, for the sake of brevity, I'll say that it is like in a mountainside. So that brings it closer, probably to here, actually, if it is in the mountains. Although, maybe I'm wrong in the interpretation. Yeah, maybe I think I might be a little wrong in the interpretation, because it is meant to be... Looks like there's stairs that descend down, so I'm going to say that these descend down a bit deeper, and this is an elevated plateau point, at least. So that's what I'm gonna nominate and roll with that. So I'm gonna nominate and roll with that at least for the time being. So he'll explain that the priory itself is on an elevated plateau, and that it's on an elevated plateau. But in terms of like environmental defenses, it's kind of wide open. Inside is a standard temple, so at the very least, the people inside will be somewhat safe if they barricade themselves in. It's up to you, the defenders, to hold out and try and wait out until dawn breaks, or you break the horde. Hopefully by then, because they've sent word to other nearby resident gauntlet, nearby resident gauntlet members, to hopefully to arrive as soon as possible, and that the four of you, the adventurers, will be sent out to assist more immediately. That's the explanation, and pretty much as the crier finishes explaining, then the more novitiates of the order will emerge and give the 4 scrolls. Give the 4 adventurers that we know of right now. So 1 to Jin, 1 to Rex, and 2 to the other NPC adventurers will will be given the scrolls and will be sent. And as they open it one by one, they'll pop from existence. And as Rex opens it, he'll pop from Neverwinter to then far south into Shalespire Priory. Let me see if I could find the... Where's my map? Dang it. Where is it? Here it is. Oh, what is this, man? Fucking bullshit. All I get is the, What is this horseshit, man? All I get is the player version? Hold on. That ain't right. I mean, it is technically right, but it ain't right for my means. Let's see here. Do I just get the... Here it is! Alright, and there's like different versions of it and everything. So is there like any difference between the... So realistically, is there any difference between like how this looks? Doesn't look like it. Let me see. Alrighty. Alright, so Rex and Jin will arrive at the... Oh my god, this is miserable. Seriously? This is supposed to be the... Oh man, that's just... What these guys got? Let me see. Pack tactics. Yo, these guys got pack tactics, guys. Pack tactics. Goodness grief. Alright. Alright, so for the time being, I'm just gonna set these two guys up. So as they open the scrolls, the four of them will then emerge from their place. Let me see. Here it is, commoners. Alright, let's see here. You know, actually, let's roll for how many commoners there will be. I'm gonna do a minimum of +6. So we're gonna roll... I'm gonna roll at the very least, see, 1d12 plus 6, so minimum is gonna be 7. That's how many commoners there is. Okay, 7 commoners. Okay, I guess dice gods are feeling a bit lazy right now. Alright, so we got 7 commoners, and we're gonna need some acolytes as well. Oh, it says here a dozen specifically, so, okay, so, alright, a dozen. Alright, I'm gonna need a dozen commoners then. So, I have 7, so that means 5. got a bunch of people like standing around panicked. You know, they're just like trying to converse and, you know, keep calm, cool, and all that jazz. And then these 4 adventurers appear. Let's see. Alright, I do need some, like, monks and clergymen. So, let me see. Is there, like, priests I can add? I'm gonna add, like, minimum... I'm just gonna add, like, 4 of them. Githzerai monk. So we do have 4 proper acolytes ordained, and the others will be like novitiates. One of them would be standing here waiting for the arrivals of the others, and I'll say that the others are tending to other commoners, trying to like calm them down, make sure that everything is safe. Sorry, I'm not speaking right now. I'm just writing this down right now. So, we're given scrolls, and upon opening them... Alright. Rex, the ranger, the 2 adventurers will be given scrolls, and upon opening them be transported to the priory. Alrighty, so let's see here. As the 4 are transported to the priory, they're greeted by a... Let me see here. Obviously, I got like the same token across the board for for a good chunk of the acolytes, but I'm gonna say for this one specifically, the acolyte will be a legit man. It will be somewhat of a middle-aged man. He will greet the four arrivals and say, "Welcome and greetings. Welcome and greetings from Shalespire Priory. I presume you are the adventurers who lended their aid to help us in our dire time of need. Two of the adventurers will pretty much like cockily and, you know, well, one will be cocky, the other one will be like, oh yeah, I joined. Yeah, what's a couple of raiders and goblins, huh? Jin will be in the back, be like, yeah, join the help and all that. Figured I could make a quick buck or two, make a quick coin or two, killing a few goblins. And Rex will be somewhat more on the quieter side and be like, I've come to lend my assistance and aid in what way I can. And the priest will nod and speak and give thanks to the four adventurers for their assistance. They explained that they received word that they saw a considerable amount of motion from. Yeah, they would see would say that they saw a large contingent of like goblin raiders like congregating and about to like mobilize from somewhere in the area, and that they've been aware of it and weren't sure when they attacked until now. They've been asking for assistance for some time, but they weren't sure when it would arrive, and that they sent word as soon as possible. So they sent word as soon as possible, and that they had to like, oh man, what's the word to describe it? They had to declare like a actual emergency to have like 4 people to be dispatched as soon as possible that were outside, as they offered up a bounty as well, as the Priory itself had actually posted the bounty as well for a call to aid, as well as paid for any like expenses to get adventurers out here as well as soon as possible. Alright. So, let me see. I'm going to wrap things up here, actually, because it is getting fairly late on my end, and I actually do need to get going soon. So, yeah, pretty much the priest will continue, like, explaining how the circumstances occurred, and that they were somewhat prepared, but not prepared to the scale of this type of attack. And that because of the short notice that the 4 of them were drawn and called upon to be here immediately. Okay. Oh wait, no, it's not. Okay, so it's midday still. Alright, okay. Alright, I wanted to do one thing, I got another thing, which was my original thing. Okay, well that's interesting. I am kind of sort of like going off the fly on this, and I apologize if it seems like I'm going a bit slower, as I genuinely am trying to like flush out like certain like details and matters. Like, how do I make this interesting? Because obviously it's just gonna be me writing. I'm using the virtual table to, you know, portray and convey a lot of details. So yeah, apologies for the I guess slower side of it, but I am like genuinely trying to like piece together like how do I want to build it out to be. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. We'll be actually getting into more detail and nitty gritty hopefully next time I do this, which is probably going to be tomorrow maybe. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna say. I'm probably gonna do this again tomorrow because I did kind of leave this on a quasi cliffhanger sort of thing. So it would be kind of cruel just to leave it as is. So next time I'll be doing this, we'll actually be getting into the thick of combat with sieges and all that. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the stream. If you want to see more, I'll be picking this up tomorrow. Hopefully, at least. If not, then whenever I can get back to streaming. And yeah, till then, take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.